Welcome aboard a California commuter train that's officially part of a metro line. This is the East Contra Costa County BART extension, or eBart to its friends, with a right-of-way entirely down a freeway median and just 3 stations, one of which you can't even leave on foot. This tiny service exists to funnel people onto BART trains to San Francisco, and isn't listed as a distinct line on official signage. So how did this corner of California end up with such a strange little rail line? The only way to find out is to go for a... And that's the end of the track. What the heck? Alright, welcome to West Oakland Station on BART, and we're going to take the yellow line all the way up from here to Antioch. Now that's going to be a smooth one-seat ride, right?
No.
Here's what we're actually doing. We'll be riding BART 50 minutes up to Pittsburgh Bay Point Station. That's where the system's electrified service terminates, but it's not where the yellow line ends. Instead, a diesel service called eBart runs another 9.1 miles east to Antioch, population 118,000, with an intermediate stop at Pittsburgh Center. Both the electric train and diesel extension are collectively considered the BART yellow line. How does BART sign the eBart connection?
It's obviously just part of the yellow line with this little incredible dot right here that tells you to change trains at a transfer platform. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll find out.
Soon a BART train arrives. Like most trains on the system, it's an electric multi-car metro train running on broad gauge track at up to 80 miles per hour. We plunge into a tunnel under Oakland, then emerge and head northeast. The yellow line dates back to 1973, a year after BART opened to the public.
This is a yellow line train to Antioch.
It is very interesting that the announcement literally says, this is a train to Antioch. This train cannot physically travel to Antioch. This is maybe the one place in the entire country where you have a train where it makes an announcement for a place where the track gauge is not even correct for it to make it to that place.
Eventually, we find ourselves in the median of State Highway 4. There's nothing quite like going 70 miles an hour on a metro through rural California hills and blasting past all this traffic. We make it to Pittsburgh Bay Point, which opened in 1996, the last passenger station on the electrified line. The train pulls forward, and a strange announcement plays.
All passengers must exit at next stop. Transfer for service to Pittsburgh Center and Antioch.
A few moments later, we pull up to another platform. It's also signed as Pittsburgh Bay Point, but here there are no pedestrian exits. The only way on or off this platform is by train. And sitting on the opposite platform is a Stadler GTW diesel multiple unit painted in BART colors. Our train's remaining passengers flood across the platform and onto the new train. The electric train departs, and so do we, beginning the short journey onwards to Pittsburgh Center and Antioch, now on standard gauge track. So why does BART run a diesel rail line just to serve 2 stations? If you're guessing it's because of cost, you'd be partially correct. Per BART's website, eBart was 60% cheaper to construct than a traditional heavy metro extension. But eBart was originally meant to be a lot longer, almost 23 miles. In initial plans from the early 2000s, the system started at Pittsburgh Bay Point, stopped at Pittsburgh Center Station, then left Interstate 4, crossing over to the Union Pacific Tracy subdivision, and following that right-of-way to Byron, serving a total of 6 new stations. Diesel trains were chosen for cost, and because they would fit more easily onto the existing right-of-way, although they would have had to have their own tracks. But then, Union Pacific declined the project. So instead, the current eBart system was built concurrent with a freeway widening project, and it opened in 2018. Expansions have been studied, with no solid plans as of right now. Our Stadler GTW train, a newer version of the train sets found on New Jersey Transit's River Line, and one of 8 on eBart, comes with a diesel unit in the middle, powered by 100% biodiesel according to BART's website. Trains are mixed high and low floor, with tall seats, large standing areas, and a very short system map. Soon we're arriving at Antioch Station, the end of the line, where we step off to a pair of diesel trains, surrounded by multiple lanes of traffic. What? A train waits on the inbound platform, signed for the other end of the yellow line at San Francisco Airport, a place it physically cannot travel to. We pass a couple of shelters and walk out to the end of the platform. It's worth noting that, according to Open Railway Map, tracks continue a little ways past Antioch Station under Highway 4, where they emerge to a yard that comes very close to the Union Pacific right-of-way. If the Great Big Rollin' Railroad changes its mind, BART will be all set to expand onto their line. A train passes us, cruising down toward the yard. Upstairs, a sky bridge crosses the freeway, leading to a 1,000 space parking lot and several bus connections. It doesn't seem like there's anything to walk to nearby. As we head back towards the city by the bay, here are some eBart fast facts. The line is 9.1 miles long, trains reach a maximum speed of 75 miles per hour, and the full journey takes about 10 minutes. Each eBart car holds 104 seated passengers with 96 standees, and the line can move up to 2,400 people per hour. In Q1 of 2026, eBart got an average of 4,900 riders every weekday. eBart could have been great if Union Pacific had played along. Instead, it's a decent if tiny service, feeding people into one of America's greatest metros. It's yet another entry in the canon of wonderfully oddball transit in the Bay Area. That said, it might have been more efficient to have a full-on BART expansion to Antioch if Pittsburgh Center and Antioch were the only stations they were going to end up building. Plus, there's not a ton of walkable development near Pittsburgh Center Station and none near Antioch. I would say there's potential for it, but transit-oriented development is hard if you have to put it next to a noisy freeway, creating space constraints and safety concerns. Regardless, one thing's for certain. eBart exists.
So Walter, what is your final thought on eBart? You can't say that, it's Classy Whale!